everybody, and welcome back to another video. And if you're here for the very first time, it's a pleasure to meet you. I'm Jane and my husband Mike is behind the camera. We're British early retirees. We've got no debt, we've paid off the mortgage, and we live a thrifty, frugal and money-saving life here in Brittany in northwest France. And every Wednesday we open our home and invite you in for a midweek money chat. Now this Wednesday is all about stretching our money as far as we can. We're answering your questions, and we had so many questions from you that we're going to break these down in today. General budgeting questions, Friday stretching our food budget, our supermarket money as far as we can, and again on Sunday we're going to go back to those general money saving questions. We hope that you enjoy these. We're really pleased to answer your questions, and we want to add to this, lots of this is based on experience, personal knowledge, personal opinion. There is no real right or wrong answer. It will be different in different countries. It will be different for different people's likes or dislikes. But we hope that you enjoy the chat that we're going to have with you today. Let's get going. The first question comes from Rachel, and she says, I love to travel and would love to learn how to do it at a fraction of the price. Well, I'm not sure about doing it at a fraction of a price because it's always going to be expensive, but you can do it on a budget. And first of all, if it is something that is important to you, set aside a sinking fund, set aside a budget. That's the first one. Set aside a monthly savings for that. And then when you know where you want to go and when you want to go, there's ways of making it cheaper. First of all, if you've picked an area, so you've picked Brittany in northwest France, if you go to any of the coastal resorts, you are going to pay more. But if you go inland by just 5 kilometers, you're going to save money. And if you are going to go to a seaside resort, instead of looking for an apartment, and maybe it's just the two of you, look for a studio apartment. And also bigger ways to save money, especially here, is check through the facilities that you've got in that apartment. Does it have a cooker? Does it have a washing machine? That will save you money. Does it have a coffee machine? That will save you money. Does it have a fridge, freezer? Does it have all the things that you would expect it to have? And some of them do and some of them don't. One thing that we do when we're looking for affordable accommodation is we use the filters and we press the button, so we want it to go from the cheapest prices to the highest prices. And then I can start thinking to myself, that looks okay to me. I scroll through it. I'll then go and look at all the reviews on it. And is it okay? Is everything working in that apartment? Is there parking for free near there? So those are things that I do. Now, something that we do when we do go away and we self-cater is I pull out the meals from my freezer that I've already made. So in the evening, when we're sat in the apartment anyway, I've got a lasagna. All I've got to do is reheat it. I've got a moussaka. All I've got to do is reheat it. I take things that I've already got in the freezer. I've already got some fish or some prawns, or I've already got some chicken. And I take that with me. I just cook it really simply, and then all I'm buying from the local supermarket might be a bag of salad or a bit of salad from a local market, and I'm taking things that I've already got at home. I might take some treats with me. I might take a bottle of wine I've already got at home. You can see where we're going with this. The best way to save money when you're going to travel, especially if you're traveling within your own country, is to self-cater, go through booking.com and Airbnb. Go off season, take your own food with you. And when you go on your day trips, when you get there, research all the things that you can do for free when you get there. And if you're going to be driving around, look for the free parking. Now there's other parts of this. You might be a person who might want to fly to where you want to go. Go to Google, look for all of those flight scanning websites. I don't fly. It's a personal choice. I don't like flying, wouldn't fly, won't fly. But look for those. Look for the travel vloggers who do it on a budget and where they go. If you want to go to Thailand on a budget, put that in the search bar in YouTube. If you want to go to Australia backpacking, YouTube again, look for those people who show you how to do it. Another way to do this is to sign up with either home swapping or house and pet sitting. It's a great way that you can go and stay somewhere in a community long term, 2 or 3 weeks, even a month. You're not paying any of the bills when you get there. Sometimes they will pay you on top of letting you stay there for absolutely free. So do your research on the area, look for the direct booking sites. The other one, once you've been somewhere, we found this, once you've been somewhere and rented somewhere a couple of times and you get to know the proprietors of that, they'll often say to you, it's cheaper if you come direct to me. We won't have to pay the surcharge that we do to Airbnb or booking.com. You can rent our apartment again. It'll be much cheaper for you. And we'll just organise payment when you get here. Hope that helps. I know lots and lots of you are going to share your ways of travelling on a budget and holidaying on a budget underneath, and I look forward to reading them. Thank you for your question, Tracy, about how to start a garden from scratch. So I'm not going to talk today about the fact that if you are an established gardener or that you are knowledgeable about gardening, it's where you start from zero. And I've got experience of this because last year we put in a fruit and vegetable garden from zero. So let's talk about where we would do that again. Now, the first thing I would say to you is that if I was back in the UK and I can get it here, is when it comes to buying young plants, courgette plants, when it comes to tomato plants, aubergine plants, cucumber plants, anything like that, if you do not have the facilities, if you do not have a heated greenhouse, if you do not have the facilities to start that, it's really cheap and easy to buy those plants. And here's the thing, buy them from a car boot sale or a brocante or somebody who's selling them off cheaply, or look on Facebook Marketplace. It's a great place to start. It will be cheaper than the garden centre. In fact, most places are cheaper than the garden centre. Look for tools on Facebook Marketplace. Look for the basic. Do your research on the basic tools that you can get away with. If you are container growing or raised bed growing, look for the things that you can grow them in that are really, really cheap. Use bags for life from the supermarket. Next thing, when it comes to buying compost, or you're going to need to buy some well-rotted horse manure or chicken manure or anything like that, look again in the supermarkets, in Lidl, in Aldi, in the supermarkets that do often 3 bags for the price of 2. We have found it every single time, hands down, cheaper than the garden centres. You're paying for some kind of snob factor often in the garden centres. So look for your starter plants cheaply. Look for your containers cheaply. If you have a bit more space, like us, and you're doing some raised beds, look for ways of doing that really cheaply. I would say to start with, anything that you can grow them in really cheaply. Can you get scaffold planks cheaply? Can you get any wood offcut planks cheaply? Can you make your raised beds from cuttings? Can you take willow or hazel cuttings? Can you weave your own hurdles for that? Can you line your raised beds with cardboard that you get from the recycling centre? Next thing you need to think of, and this will hit you, is the expense of losing all of this due to weather, vermin or insects. Now, where we live, there is no slug pellets that we can use, nor would I want to. So you have to think of all the ways that you can eliminate slugs cheaply. Keep everything weed free. In your raised beds, keep that weed free around it as well. Put eggshells everywhere. At this time of year, I keep everything. I keep all my coffee grounds. I keep all of my eggshells. When I plant my tomatoes, I'm making sure I'm putting my dried ground eggshells in there. The next part of this, if you're starting up from nothing, is start following allotment websites, start following YouTube channels. My favourite is Hugh Williams. My other one is, I can't remember his name, but I will put his in the link below. I'm a big fan of raised bed permaculture gardening. It's the cheapest way to garden. The next thing, if you're talking gardening in general, and I can talk about that from experience as well, when it comes to putting in a hedge, if you know anybody who's got any laurel hedges, they will just throw up laurels all over the place. If you go with them to their garden and say, look, can we go and pull up these laurel weeds that are everywhere? And I do it with a couple of people that I know. They are delighted that I've come up to basically pull up weeds. In our hedgerows around here, as I go for a walk, where the council would cut it down, there's often tree saplings or rhododendron saplings or laurel saplings. And we literally pull them up. They're only about that big, and I pop them on. 3 years later, after tending them, I've got a sapling that big and I can plant it out in my garden. It's the way I get free trees and free hedges for my garden. I'm also always taking cuttings from my own garden, and that's not necessarily something a beginner would do, but you could, because I still consider myself a beginner. I take cuttings from shrubs, I then pot them on, and then I wait until they're about that big and I pot them on again, and 2 or 3 years later I've got established shrubs that I can plant out. A great value thing to get into your garden as a beginner gardener are fruit bushes and fruit trees. You can pick those up in Lidl, in supermarkets, really, really cheaply, and again, get them in your garden. But please don't what I do, don't leave them unprotected, or the deer will just come along and eat them. And for a little bit more money of some chicken wire and building a cage around it, it will protect them. Now I know lots of you will have ideas on gardening from scratch. We're talking about helping out beginners. So I'd love to hear your comments and I look forward to reading them. Let's talk about our vehicles now, and thank you for your question, Michelle. Michelle Jennings asks, do you have any ideas regarding vehicle upkeep? Wow, that is a big expense and it needs a big sinking fund. If you think about all the things that could or might go wrong with your car, you need to find out what those could be. So first of all, go to your local garage, the ones that you trust, the ones that you use, and find out in advance, how much is my annual service going to cost this year? And do that well in advance. Make sure you know the date that that is going to come up and you're saving that. So ours, for example, was $200 a year. We divide that by 12. We know to add on a bit for next year. Every 2 years, our car is going to need tyres. Set of tyres last 20 to 30,000 miles, depending on quality of your roads, depending on how heavy you are with your accelerating and braking. So you know that you need to set that aside. You can do your research on the type of car you've got and the type of tyres that you need to buy. You can often get away with just buying the 2 front tyres or the 2 back tyres. Here in France, if you have one front tyre blow out, you've got to have the other front tyre replaced, the same with the back. So you can go online and you can find that out. Or you can go into a tyre fitting place, walk into reception, go, there's the registration details for my car, how much do the tyres cost? And then you know how much to save for that. The next part of that is same with your aircon. That needs topping up once a year or once every 2 years. You can do exactly the same again. Often where you have your tyres fitted or you can have your brakes fitted or anything like that, they often do all of those parts as well. Sometimes your main dealer will be cheaper. Sometimes they'll have a fixed price. The car manufacturer here in France, Dacia, they have fixed price servicing and fixed price for each and every part and everything that you have done to your car. The next part of vehicle services and everything to save you money is do not neglect the care of your car. Keep it clean. A dirty car will devalue You won't see the scratches on it. You won't see the dulling of the paint on it. Keep it clean yourself. That will save you money. Something that we absolutely swear by, we do it with every car we ever buy, is we buy the rubber mats for the footwells for the front, the footwells for the back, and the boot liner. And that saves the wear and tear. So when we come to sell the car, we put the original, ours will say Renault on it as well. So it will say Renault Kadjar, and those pristine mats will go back in. The other thing that we do in the back of our car, where the dogs sit in there, is we always keep the back of it covered in blankets. So when the dogs get in the back of it, then their claws, their nails don't scratch it, and their fur doesn't get in there. There is nothing that will devalue a car more than if you don't look after it, or you let it get dirty, or you overly wear it. So check on it regularly. Do not miss regular maintenance. Make sure that your tyres are pumped up to the right PSI properly. I don't know what that is in metric, I still call it PSI. Make sure that you are, keep up to date with it, and shop around as well. I hope that helps, and obviously save regularly for that. Otherwise you might put it off, mightn't you? Think to yourself, well, I won't take it for a service yet, I haven't got the money yet. But if you have, and you've got that sinking fund in place, it's an inconvenience, it's not a drama. Oh, I love the smell of laundry detergent. Brings me to the question by English Learning Expert asked, how do we save money on laundry? What's cheaper, capsules, tablets, powder? What is it? So let's get talking about money saving on laundry. And again, as I said to you at the beginning, it's about personal experience, personal opinion. There'll be loads of answers to this beyond mine. Now, when it comes to laundry, at certain times of the year, you will find really good offers on laundry detergent. If you have a preference, wait until the one that you like best comes up on offer. I have no preference whatsoever. I had a relation who was a chemist, and this chemist told me when it comes to the actual ingredients on anything from shampoo, shower gel, cleaning products, basically there is the same chemical formula for each laundry detergent. There's the same chemical formula for each fabric softener. There's the same chemical formula for each stain remover. So you pays your money, you takes your choice. But if you're here asking me for my advice on how to save your money, here's what I do. First of all, I buy supermarket own brands. I'm not fussy. As long as it cleans my clothes, I'm happy. The next thing to save money on this is that I wait for the sales. Now, I bought this on sale and it was half price. It was the same price as normal, but you bought one, you got one free, making it half price. I've tried all the stain removers because often I might get a bit of food on my clothing or I might get a bit of grease from cooking. And I do believe in these powdered, you could use bicarbonate of soda just as well, but this actually works out a bit cheaper. And it comes with a little scoop and you just put in an extra scoop, and they usually call it a booster, a wash booster. Look out for the supermarket's own brands, and if you don't believe me, look at the active ingredients on the back of the own brand, look at the active ingredients on the back of the branded one, and tell me if you can find much of a difference. Might be you like the smell, but like I said to you, you pay your money, you take your choice. So the next one I do is I do not believe what they say about how much you should put in, but I do read the instructions on the back. Now it says here, 1 lidful is enough for a washing machine that is 4.5 kilos. My washing machine is 9 kilos. So I don't put in 2 capfuls because I know I would see the soap suds going around and round in my washing machine. I put in 1. I put in half as much as they say. We're not dirty people. We haven't got dirty jobs. We don't really get very dirty at all. Now, fabric conditioner is absolutely optional. You don't need it. I like it because I love my clothes to smell of clean laundry. I love that smell. I really do love the smell of clean laundry. But the same again with this. Even though it says 28 washes, and for a full capful, I only use half. Don't need as much as they say. And the other one is that if the really good one, especially, is don't go pouring it in, guesstimating. Always measure it out. It will make it last longer. So to answer your question, English learning expert, look at the unit price. So look at how much you're paying for it. Get it on sale if you can. Look for the special offers and how much you're paying per wash. So this is what it cost me to do my laundry. It's 4 cents per wash to wash it and 2 cents per wash to put conditioner in it. So yes, people could say, would you make your own? I'm not bothering for 6 cents a wash, and I don't use the stain remover very often at all. I only put in the 1 spoonful. I find it really helps, especially if you get some grease on it. But again, I'm only sharing my experience. I'm only sharing my opinion. I love to hear from everybody else. I know that loads of people say, I make my own soap for free from iMovie. I know that one's quite popular as well. So leave your comments below. I love to hear from them. I love to hear from you, but there you go. That's how I save money on just laundry products. And a great question from a viewer who calls themselves Just Stopping By. And their question was, how can we be frugal with electricity? I feel it. I really do feel this. Electricity prices are going up all of the time. And people like us, we're having to use less and less electricity just to keep our bill the same. There is no money for any more, is there? So let's share different ways that we can do this. First of all, where you live, do you have access to a smart meter so you can monitor your electricity day by day, how much you're using? Days like today, which in France we call a red day because we are on a tariff where we have very expensive electricity today, I've dried my hair and straightened my hair today by using one of my solar power packs. I plugged my hairdryer in. It uses 2,000 watts on that hairdryer. So turn it down a setting. How amazing was that? I was thinking to myself, looking at my power pack, I'm going to drain this power pack down and I need the electricity today. So I turned my hairdryer down from the highest heat setting to the second heat setting. It took it down to 800 watts. How amazing is that? I then plugged my hair straightener in and all it used was 80 to 100 watts. So don't worry about your hair straightener and don't worry about the small things. But those things in your house that are really going to surge, use them less. I won't say hairdryer, my air fryer surges at almost 2,000 watts. Turn it down. Turn it down. Don't put it on the 220 temperature, 220 centigrade. Put it down to 180. It sounds ridiculous, but it does use so much less electricity. Use your small appliances. Do you have a mini oven? Do you have a toaster oven? It will save you a ton of money. Do you have a slow cooker? Do you have an Instant Pot? All of those things that use less electricity. Be mindful of that. On dry days, on sunny days, can you put a clothes stand discreetly outside your back door? I know some of you live where you might not want to put your washing on display. I get that, I understand. But could you put a clothes dryer just maybe in the garage with the door open or just outside the back door? Or if you're like us and you have a washing line, can you use it in the summer? Do you have somewhere in your house that you could finish drying your washing if it's coming a bit damp? Do you have a, like us, do you have a wood stove? You'll soon dry your washing really quickly. And if you have a wood stove, you'll know it'll dry quicker than if you have a tumble dryer. Now, when it comes to electricity, check your tariffs. Often in some areas you will get cheaper electricity at certain times of the day, or they will charge you more in peak hours like 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Don't run your washing machine and tumble dryer and dishwasher in those hours. Wait until 9 p.m. and switch it on then. When we don't run our dishwasher every single day, but when we do, we always wait till 10 p.m. because we know that's when our electricity is much cheaper, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. I always run my washing machine overnight. I've got an inbuilt timer in it, so I can put my washing machine on so it comes on overnight. I time it so it comes on, so it finishes at 6 o'clock in the morning, so I can take my washing out and it hasn't been sat there in the washing machine overnight. So can you get a smart meter to monitor your electricity? Can you use small appliances for all cooking? Turn your hair dryer down from the top setting to a slightly lower setting. Don't leave your hair straightener on for hours on end and forget you've done it. If you're a quilter, make sure you do not leave your iron on. And here's one as well, quilters. Our irons, again, they surge at about 1500 to 1700 watts on the highest cotton or linen setting. Turn it down to the silk setting. And I know this because I use my power boxes. It drops the wattage right down to about 800. So use a smart meter if you can get one. Monitor your own use. Think about your tariff. Does it have a cheaper time? And another thing is things like your washing machine. Wash on a cold wash. Try and dry your washing on a clothes stand. If you don't like the feel of it, put it in your tumble dryer when it is dry on a refresh cycle and where it's not heating, and it will just tumble them soft for you. I know lots of you are going to have loads of other advice, and I look forward to reading your comments. Anita, thank you for your question. Your question is how to save money on toiletries. Let's talk about personal care in general. And again, I'm going to speak from my own opinion and also from my own experience. In speaking to my hairdresser about shampoo, she told me something really, really interesting. And she told me to go for the mildest shampoo I could buy. And I'd often buy myself a generic supermarket baby shampoo. But sometimes I would just go through the extra mild. And something she told me to do is you literally put enough on your hands to create a lather, and you just wash your scalp. Especially people like me who've got grey hair or long hair, we don't want to dry it out. And then just wash the scalp a couple of times with as little shampoo as you can get away with. And then she told me it really doesn't matter when it comes to conditioner really, because it's not going on your scalp. So again, I was going for, I just picked one that just said, it's extra mild. I just want something that's extra mild. And I'm getting my conditioner and I'm just putting it on the ends of my hair and pulling it through. So that saves me money. Again, it's personal preference. If there is a certain brand you like, wait for it to come up on sale. Can you buy two for the price of one? Can you buy it online cheaper? Do your research. I'm quite happy to use supermarket own brand body soap, supermarket own brand shampoo and conditioner, supermarket own brand shoulder. That's my personal preference, so I'm okay with that. When it comes to face care, I have got brands that I like, and I go for the cheaper of the better brands. And the ones I go for is once a day I use a CeraVe foaming cleanser. That here is about €7, not much at all. That one is not much either. That one's just a cream cleanser. Wipe it onto my face, massage it in well, take it off with a flannel, a washcloth, clean washcloth, and take it off my face. And by day or by night, I'm using different moisturizers. Look online for beauty dupes. Often they will give you really expensive, very good skincare brands, and then they'll tell you the cheaper dupe. And this one is a Van. It's about €12. It lasts me 2 months. It's a highly intensive moisturizer, really gentle on my face, and I've got very, very sensitive skin. So that's what I use in the evening. And then by daytime, and I get this online, and I usually, if I get 2, it's cheaper. It's the CeraVe, and it has got the SPF factor of 50 in it, or I get it of 25, and it just does me. Like I said, I've got sensitive skin, that is fine. Now when I talked about beauty dupes as well, Lidl, I love Lidl's. Lidl's body sprays, Lidl's deodorants, Lidl's antiperspirants. £1.09 I pay for that, and that is their dupe of a well-known brand that smells very similar. And again, when it comes to fragrances, I can't get myself to pay the money for fragrances. They are a lot of money, but I use fragrance every single day. And for years and years and years, I have used Lidl's own fragrances. So look up Lidl's fragrances and put in Lidl fragrance dupes, and you'll find the smell-alikes. There are other stores that do smell-alikes as well. Unless you are a perfumier or you have a really sensitive nose, you know. But then you pay your money, you take your chance, you take your choices, don't you? And if there are brands that you like, budget for them. Set up a sinking fund. If there's something that you like to have done, you like to have a facial done to your face every month or so, set up a fund for that. You are important, and how you look after yourself is important, and it is your money to do with what you like. If there is like I said, if there is a brand of toiletries, it's like me, when it comes to body moisturisers, good old Palmer's will do for me. That is about €5 or €6 in our supermarket. Perfectly affordable. And the same one again for the CeraVe moisturiser. There's hardly any difference between that one and that one other than SPF. So do your research, find the cheaper brands if you want to. Here in France it is Avène and it is CeraVe. They are what I would call the cheapest of the expensive brands. Obviously you can get much cheaper than this, but like I said, sometimes there are some things that we like to budget for because, you know, things like skincare, especially if you're like me and you've got really dry skin, things like that are important to me. Well, that was the end of part 1, and thank you so much to everybody who sent in a question. Part 2 is Friday. It's all about saving money on food, all about saving money at the supermarket. We look forward to seeing you then. Thanks to everybody who hits the like button, especially to everybody who leaves a comment, and we will see you soon. Bye!